This is Mac OS Ken.
Notes ahead of Apple's earnings, details around HomePod, and the last of Apple Store's original doors closes. It is Wednesday, the 1st of February, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Apple's holiday quarter results will be lower than 2021, according to Cowen and Company, with softness expected due to iPhone shipments impacted by Chinese lockdowns. That is the word from the financial publication. No. Actually, it's from Apple Insider, though I vent my spleen not at them, but at whomever at Cowen got paid real money to write that note. Perhaps you haven't heard, but the plant responsible for most, if not all, of the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max units made went into COVID-related lockdown from the middle of October 2022 through the beginning of December. That put a bit of a crimp in Apple's holiday sales, and yes, okay, I apologize. It is the job of the Cowen analyst or analysts to let clients know what gives, even if what gives is glaringly obvious. For the December quarter, Cowen expects Apple revenue to come in at $118.8 billion, a 4% decline year on year. They're looking for earnings per share for the quarter of $1.90. Looking ahead to, well, now, while there appear to be no kinks in the supply chain at this point, demand side may be gummed up. Apple Insider says Cowen and crew see Apple entering a period of slower demand due to macro factors. As for other stuff Apple makes, the firm thinks iPads probably benefited from seasonality as well as improved component availability. They think Mac sales fell last quarter thanks to a lack of new models on the market. That is a fact that was actually telegraphed by Apple CFO Luca Maestri on the company's September quarter call. Lackluster, though all of that sounds, Cowen is still into Apple shares. The firm has an outperform rating on Apple stock and a price target of $200. Buy on weakness is one mantra often heard from financial folk. Doesn't always work. Oh yes, sometimes it is darkest before the dawn. Other times it is darkest when the light is going truly and irrevocably out. All right, I may need a hug or something, but there's really no time. Buy on weakness is one mantra often heard from financial folk, and one being repeated by Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani, where Apple is concerned. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note he wrote. Quoting part of that part, Apple has underperformed the S&P 500 by 11% since it reported September quarter earnings, creating a compelling buying opportunity ahead of December quarter earnings, which should serve as a positive catalyst. Though it is worth noting, year-to-date, Apple is up 11% versus S&P up 4%. While he does think Apple could miss the street's expectations thanks to the whole iPhone City thing, he's expecting strong color from Apple on the current quarter. Daryanani and friends are expecting a March quarter guide that is about 5% above consensus, driven by the recovery of iPhone sales lost in the December quarter. Not that they're getting all of those sales back. While he and his think Apple missed sales of about 8 million iPhones in the December quarter, comments that indicate recovery of 3 million to 4 million of those this quarter would be double plus good in Daryanani's estimation. The analyst also reminds clients that he and his recently added Apple to Evercore's tactical outperform list, as Apple should comfortably outperform expectations on the March quarter guide. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $190. Just another day or two of notes like those. Then we get to the post-mortems. That's because Apple is set to report December quarter earnings tomorrow, Thursday, the 2nd of February. Numbers will arrive via press release after the bell, about 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Then at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, Apple execs and Apple analysts will go to the phones for their quarterly question and answer session. You can hear that as it happens on Apple's site. It'll be made available as a podcast soon after. And of course, we will hit highlights and lowlights right here on Friday. A warning to people getting new HomePods this week: you still need a coaster. It was kind of a big deal in 2018 when owners of the original HomePod found Apple's smart speaker leaving white rings on some wooden surfaces. In a support document published then, Apple was all like, "Yeah, that's natural." According to the doc, the marks can be caused by oils diffusing between the silicone base and the table surface and will often go away after several days when the speaker is removed from the wooden surface. If not, wiping the surface gently with a soft, damp, or dry cloth may remove the marks. If marks persist, clean the surface with the furniture manufacturer's recommended cleaning process. If you're concerned about this, we recommend placing your HomePod on a different surface. I say use a coaster. And continue to do so. A piece from Mac Rumors has YouTuber Marquez Brownlee confirming that this is happening again with the second-generation HomePod, though to a lesser extent. According to Mac Rumors, in a side-by-side test, Brownlee showed that the white second-generation HomePod left a white ring on the wooden surface that he placed the speaker on, although the stain was fainter and took longer to appear than the one under the original HomePod. HomePod Mini does not leave such rings, according to Mac Rumors. Here's good news for soon-to-be owners of the second-gen HomePod. The power situation is more easily manageable. The power cord on the original HomePod was not meant to be disconnected from the speaker itself. I mean, you could, but it was highly discouraged. A piece from my download blog says the original device came with a proprietary plug for reasons known only to Apple engineers. People found the cable challenging to remove without applying force. Worse, the piece continues, in case it broke, you couldn't simply replace it with a ubiquitous power cord. You can with the second-generation model. Not only does the cord come out easily, it is what iDownload blog refers to as a traditional figure-8 power cable. According to the site, the new HomePod's power cable is still braided and color-matched like the original model, but now you can swap it for any ubiquitous power cable with a traditional figure-8 style connector. Kind of surprising they didn't go with USB-C, but cool. Another Apple leaker is pushing back against the foldable iPad talk. I told you yesterday of differing opinions on the subject. TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says Apple will release a foldable tablet in 2024, while Bloomberg's Mark Gurman doesn't say explicitly that Apple won't. However, the well-connected Apple leaker did stress that he has heard nothing of the sort, doubling down on talk he's heard of an OLED iPad instead. Now, a piece from 9to5Mac has display industry analyst Ross Young questioning Ming-Chi Kuo's assertion as well. The piece has Young saying he's heard nothing about a foldable iPad for 2024. That said, he has heard foldable talk of a different sort for a different time. According to 9to5Mac, Young says he's hearing chatter in the supply chain of a foldable notebook from Apple. This product could be ready for 2025, according to the piece, but more details are unknown at this point. I don't know about you, but my notebook does fold. Doesn't yours? Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I mean, I get what he's saying. I have no idea what he's talking about. 9to5Mac says it is unclear what operating system this bit of folding technology would run. It leaves one to wonder whether Ming-Chi Kuo and Ross Young are hearing different takes on the same device. that may never happen. Apple TV Plus viewers can take at least one more trip to Acapulco. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release this week saying the coming-of-age bilingual sitcom has been picked up for a third season. Seasons 1 and 2 are available to stream now on Apple TV Plus. No word on when Season 3 will hit the roster. Congrats to the cats at the mind-bending Apple TV Plus drama Severance. A piece from Apple Insider says that series has been nominated for the Producers Guild of America's Norman Felton Award. That's the PGA's award for Outstanding Producer of Episodic Television. As with all such awards, the competition will be stiff. Other titles in the running include Star Wars Andor, Better Call Saul, and The White Lotus. Severance is one of 2 titles from Apple TV Plus nominated for a PGA award this year. Apple Insider says the animated special Snoopy Presents It's the Small Things, Charlie Brown has been nominated for the organization's award for Outstanding Children's Programming. The world will find out how they did near the end of this month. The PGA Children's Programming winners will be announced at 2 dates and 2 locations, the 21st of February in New York City and the 23rd in LA. The more traditional 34th Annual Producers Guild Awards will also be in LA. They will be presented on the 25th of February. And finally today, you can call it the end of an era, you can call it a continuing evolution. Whichever you prefer, an old part of Apple's retail chain has probably gone away. MacRumor says Apple's final store, sporting the chain's original 2001 entrance, probably closed those particular doors for the last time on Tuesday. Citing a mention from Apple retail watcher Michael Stieber, the piece says Apple Tice's Corner in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, closed for renovations beginning yesterday, Tuesday, the 31st of January. According to the report, the closure is notable given that Apple Tice's Corner is the company's only remaining retail store with an original 2001 storefront design, which consists of a black facade with 2 backlit Apple logos bookending the entrance. Stieber said the scope of the upcoming renovation is unclear, so it remains to be seen if the facade will be updated. No word on when the store will reopen with, one imagines, a reimagined facade. Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, Apple has a new idea for counting calories, but is it for an iPhone or a headset? TMO writer Nick DeCorvo will be by to talk that over, plus a public service announcement from the Wall Street Journal that has nothing to do with man's money and everything to do with man's best friend. That is all today on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.